standing here with Ptitdrogo here at DreamHack Montreal, WCS. It's not WCS Summer, it's just WCS Montreal, isn't it? How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. Thank you.
Do you, because you're from France, right? I mean, I caught Todd talking in the broadcast how interesting it is to be in a North American city where the people speak French. How is that for you guys from France?
I mean, this place is special in that regard. They speak French, but not really French, you know.
My dad grew up in Montreal, actually, and he always said that the kind of French that we speak here is like a really weird French. It's not the real French from France. Do you ever have any issues like communicating with the locals? Are there any really weird, jarring moments for you?
For some extreme cases, it's easier to speak to them in English than in French. But I don't know, like it's not really something that you really know of if you're not French. But for example, like we have a show. It used to be. I mean, when I was a kid, it was really popular. It was like a web series of like kind of puppet-like people. We would call this like les états claques, and it's just people sketches between people like speaking in Quebecois like linguistic, and it's just like 80% of the joke there were just that the people were speaking funny, like, just speaking like, I don't want to be too mean, but yeah, like really often to me it's funny when I hear like someone from here speak French. But you know, like it's funny for 5 minutes, then I try to focus on understand what they say, but they do sound very silly. It's here. It's always here.
As a pro player traveling around the world and everything, I mean, you must be exposed to so many different cultures and different things, but it seems to me that Montreal has become a real special place for StarCraft in the past 2 years with WCS Montreal. In the pro player community, like players like yourself who are traveling all over the world, are there standout locations for you guys that carry a little bit more prestige?
It's funny that you mentioned that. Nothing to do with prestige or anything, but usually when I travel the world, something that I realized that just by traveling a lot is that the place I currently living in, like Lyon in France, is actually really dope. Because really often I will travel like to a city and be like, yeah, it's not that great. It's pretty bad. Like, I'm a pretty negative person in that regard. But Montreal is actually great, man. I've been working in Montreal. It's a lovely city. I actually love it. And yeah, like the fact that I understand both English and French, and you have a lot of people with that like that dual linguistic culture, kind of. They're gonna like speak French with a lot of English word in them. That's exactly what I speak too. So I kind of feel a little bit at home when I'm here. Like I could see myself living in Montreal, is what I'm trying to say, which is not the case for most of the cities I've been to. Usually I'm just like, man, home is better. Yeah. Love home. As for prestige go, I don't know. Like I'm not too big on the North American, Canadian scene in StarCraft, so I don't really know. But yeah, like the fans here are very, very loud. We're just like so Scarlet versus Nib, and the fans are sharing very loudly. So yeah, it's pretty nice to see a lot of StarCraft fans here.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit about the tournament here. What were your expectations heading into the last of the WCS Circuit events for 2017?
Well, I wanted to like play good StarCraft. I didn't really manage to do that. I got tricked really badly. Sometimes it happened, like, the game is very unforgiving. Like, a lot of really good people lost in group stage. That's a small consolation for me. Yeah. Like, at the moment, like, the throw-in scene is very, very tough. Like, you need to be extremely good and consistent to make something happen. So I'm not gonna make BlizzCon. I'm pretty sad, but like, I have a lot of good stuff in real life lined up, so I'm very excited about that. And at the beginning of 2018, I'm probably gonna go to Korea and just try again. Great. Like, the scene is great and the game is great, so I'm gonna keep going.
You said that you got tricked. Walk us through your games from your perspective. What happened?
Not to lose people too much, but there's like the most insane thing I've seen in quite a long time. So like when I played Pili the first series, I won 2-0, and one of these games was a cannon rush that I held pretty convincingly. And in the second series, what he did was pretty much send a probe really early. Like you need to send a probe instantly to cannon rush, right? So he sends the probe extremely early, builds a pylon to make it look like he's cannon rushing. Then my reaction to it was to cancel a gas and pull probe to the pylon. He goes straight for the gas that I cancelled in the past game, unsteals it, then goes home, because while he sent the probe really early, he was actually going for gate on core. This openings assumes a lot of things. One, it assumes they're gonna scout for it again, and two, it assumes it's gonna like cancel the gas again. If I were just not scouting, I would have won the game by default without doing anything. It was like one of the most insane gambles I've ever seen. And it worked. So like, good job to Pili, but a bunch of stuff like this that were just like metagame stuff got to me, and not so much like mechanic stuff. So it was a bit frustrating in that regard, but it's all right.
Is it more frustrating to lose a game like that, or like would you rather lose a game where you slipped up or even you didn't slip up but you know where you could have done better, or is it these kind of games where, God, this is a 1 in a million situation, it'll never happen again? Is it, like, which one's better for you as a competitor?
Not to sound too salty, but when I lose to someone that relied more on me fucking up than on his own skill, I feel like that guy shouldn't even try playing StarCraft. But that's not too salty. But, you know, like, sometimes I'm that guy. Like, when you play versus someone that's, like, much better than you, you're just gonna try to gamble and win the game anywhere you can. And I feel like sometimes I play opponents, I feel like they shouldn't play like that. They should like play proper StarCraft, and I don't know. But you know, like it's StarCraft, like it's just another aspect of the game, and I can't really get mad about it.
Yeah. You said that you're intending to possibly go to Korea, train again in Korea. How much of a difference does doing that make for you in your mindset and in your skill all around?
Well, recently, actually, like before, I could like talk about Korea is like the best environment, etc., etc. But recently, like I'm living with 2 roommates now that are not at all into StarCraft. So practicing in that environment is by default just more difficult to like really keep going, keep the hardcore training happen. Whereas in Korea, just like living with other people playing StarCraft is much easier and also a lot more fun. So like yeah. I'm just gonna go there, I think, a little bit. I don't know the exact dates yet because the schedule is a bit is not hot yet, and we're gonna have to play around that. But yeah, just like it's what I think I will do. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it, but I will probably do it.
You are someone who I would personally say is a very emotional player. Oftentimes, you really take your losses to heart. And you can see it affect you. You can see it in your performance, in your eyes, you know, on your Twitter. Talk a little bit about that mindset. Do you believe that that's a negative part of yourself as a competitor, or do you think that really just demonstrates the drive for competition that you have?
No, I don't think it's a strength at all. I think the more you want to win in StarCraft, the more fucked you are. No, really. Like, I don't think it affects my play too much. It's just I get really fucking pissed off sometimes when I lose, but I don't really choose to get pissed off. You know, I don't think it's really positive, like to get this mad after losing a game. But it's really hard for me to enjoy the game when I lose and I don't want to lose. But like everybody loses in StarCraft. Like everybody except the winner of the tournament lose. So I really shouldn't feel like this. But that's just how am I sadly. Like when I lose something, sometimes I get really mad. That's it. Yeah. Like I just try to. Like when I'm playing the game, like like for people when they see me get mad, sometimes it's when I'm playing the game, I'm not mad. I'm just playing the game. It's just at the end of the day, at the end of the game, yeah, like it's always very sad when you lose. Yes. But like usually after like 10 minutes it's gone, and you can go back to something else.
Is that something that you're trying to work on, or is it as big a deal to you that you need to work on it? This you talk about it being a negative thing, but is it important enough for you to really worry about it at the end of the day?
I mean, yeah, but it's not really something I can work on. I think like that's just how it's going. It's just how it's gonna be. Like I don't think like a lot of people are just I think everybody is pissed off after they lose. Just some people are more expressive about it than others. I guess I'm technically one of the more expressive about it, but like I don't want to glorify it. I guess is the main thing. Like I feel like the people that just don't punch the table after they lose. It hurts after a while to punch the table. It really hurts.
You're gonna mess up your APM if you do it too much, right?
Yeah, I mean I punch with my mouse hand, so I click with the index. And I punch with the little finger, It's the little finger that's taking the hit. So even if I do it too much, I feel like I should still be able to play StarCraft.
Have you ever actually well, not seriously, but have you ever really injured yourself in a rage moment?
I mean, I don't know if I technically injured myself. Like, I mean, after I lost the WCS qualifier for Valencia, I punched my table at full force 9 or 10 times, and I could still feel it 1 month later that something was a bit funky in the hand. I could probably do a radio for it. I'm not sure.
Maybe get a little throw pillow or something for the side. Would that be the same?
I don't know, man.
But not to paint you as like this incredibly negative guy, because you bring a lot of light as well. I mean, last year at BlizzCon, you showed up with the beret, kind of playing in the old memes and such. Like, what kind of goes through your head before a tournament to kind of show up like that and have this lighthearted side to yourself as well? It seems like a kind of a duality before and after.
Well, I mean, like at BlizzCon, I was not a favorite at all.
Yeah.
So like, I really didn't care about much. You know, like when you don't really expect to win and you're the underdogs, it's so much easier in every regard to really do anything. And also like, and BlizzCon was kind of positive for me because, you know, like there's this famous series against Snoots, where I feel like if I lost that, I would have been really hated on at the guy that got. I can't remember the word, but you know, after 2 people disqualified, I was not really supposed to be here. So especially in the French community, I got a ton of hate when I was losing again at BlizzCon. So winning that felt pretty good, but also I felt very bad for Snoot after that, because, you know, it feels like the loser always gets a ton of hate in these really high stakes tournaments. But I don't know, like BlizzCon was a very, very good experience. I'm really happy to have been able to make it after 2016. In general, 2016 was a super year. Like, just because there was a lot of tournaments. This is one of the big things I don't like about 2017. I know, you know, like this limitation on the whole, but 4 tournaments really isn't great. Yeah. So yeah, but I don't know, like I really enjoy the game in general. It's just some aspects of it can be bad, and when these certain aspects are the entirety of your experience, sometimes it can get really, really bad. So yeah.
I want to break down a couple of things that you just brought up. 2017 WCS Circuit, like you said, 4 LAN events. Do you personally see Challenger kind of filling any of the same role there? Like, do you count Challenger in the same way that you count a LAN?
My immediate reaction in my head was fuck off. because of one thing. Europe Challenger is retarded. It actually is. We have 4 spots. We should have more. There's no cash. If you win the Challenger Europe, which is pretty much like you're like top 5 player in the world, you get 1 K6. Whereas, like, I don't know, like China gets 2 spots for no reason. Like, how many people qualify from Australia? 1 or 2?
I think it's 2.
It's 2, right? There's proven safer. Fuck. NA gets 4 spots for no reason. People are gonna be like, oh, but the rise of Massa. Okay, you know, it's hard to complain about this without singling out like individual players. But people need to realize Europe is much harder than the other region. In terms of global strength, the amount of good players there is in Europe is much higher than in this other region. So, like, if you want, like, then you can go back to the old thing about region lock and how Korean should be able to play. And if you want to start to pick about skill, you should allow Korean back in. It's like, sure, it's another debate, but as long as we have like this distribution, either, you know, give more spots or give more cash, because right now it's just it's hard to not be jealous of some other region.
Right on. You also touched on balance a little bit there, right? Talk to me how you see the state of StarCraft 2 right now. They're teasing this really big patch. Is that something that you're looking forward to, or like what do you think about the current state of StarCraft and then where it's headed possibly?
I mean, the current state of StarCraft feels fine. There's nothing outrageous. Even if, like, you know, people are always gonna single out something, but in general, I find it pretty silly. I don't know. Like right now, when you look at GSL, it's only like 3-2, Innovation Dog 4-3, and when it's like this, it's hard to really be like, yo, this is imbalanced. So in general, relatively speaking, I would say it's fine. Right now, you know, I just had a big meeting with Blizzard with some other players about the big Protoss change, and one of the big things we talked about obviously was the Mothership Power removal. And while there was a lot of fun and cool idea, I feel like, you know, we're going to have to come up with something, but removing the Mothership Power is such a big challenge to make Protoss still viable without this unit. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen, but I am also kind of afraid that we're going to one tournament is gonna take it for the team, you know, because they're gonna put in, you know, WEAG.
Yep.
It's gonna come out like a bit after the patch, and if we don't have enough time to adapt, and if the Protoss is not competitive at the time, well, sucks for us, I guess. Yeah. But we'll see. Like, I like the idea, you know, like I like the idea, so I'm not complaining.
Is there any conflict, like internally for you? Like you say, you're not complaining, but there are concerns with having these major changes. And then you say the current state of StarCraft it's fine, it's okay. It's pretty balanced. You can't complain. If it were up to you, what would you do? Would you rather keep on this path where everything is just fine, or do you think that making these huge balance changes is important for the game and on whole?
No. For a realistic point of view, in the short term, changing everything every year is the best way they have to keep the interest up.
You sound really reluctant in saying that, though.
It's true, though. I'm reluctant because I don't like saying it, but this is one of the big. I wish we could have this boudoir-esque kind of game that just can stand on its own, and it's so interesting and exciting that it just keeps, just like you don't have to change it, and it just keeps on delivering. But I feel like they're trying to get to that point by doing big changing. But a side effect of that is also one of the main goals. I feel like is just to bring change, just to bring excitement, just because something changed. Which is I say that it's a bad thing. It's the main source that keeps other esports active. Like Hearthstone gets new cards, League of Legends gets new hero. I guess Dota doesn't get that many heroes, so it's kind of an exception in that regard. I guess it's not true for every esports now that I think about it. But I don't know really. I feel like trying to get the best game possible is not something you should spite at. I think it's something you should aim. Always something you should try to do.
What are your personal goals looking at 2018? What do you expect for yourself in the WCS circuit and WSG and beyond, everything like that? You're going to go train in Korea. What kind of heights are you looking to reach, and what kind of heights are you expecting to reach?
I don't want to sound too dreamy after losing Group Stage 2 in this tournament, but you kind of always want to be the best when you're a StarCraft player. I just want me to, when I started being a pro gamer and I went to the Minus NTRs, I had one of the biggest spike of skills I ever seen in anybody, honestly. I went from top 50 Grandmaster to almost pro level in PvZ, where I just qualified beating pure Zergon. And I did a run that if I could do this run again right now, it would be very tough. I won against, I went from being nothing to big teams. Snoots, Cyril, Daga, Firecake. I run like this. If I could do this run right now, maybe even if some of the players are retired, it would be very impressive. And I don't know. I just feel like it's not even that I need some special motivation. Playing StarCraft is just what I do. And if I was not doing that, I don't really know what I would do.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna keep playing StarCraft and keep on playing StarCraft. Just keep trying to be the best. And it sounds vague, but that's what it is.
All right. Well, thank you so much sincerely for your time. I really appreciate you taking the time out. If you want to have any final words or anything like that, go ahead.
Just thank you for having me. Long live StarCraft, and I swear I'm a very positive guy. I feel like if you could see my face, you will see how expressive and happy I am. I'm not brooding anything.
Can confirm. All right. Thanks a lot, dude.